Okay, hi everyone. We're going to talk about something that is extremely interesting, and I think, well, everyone. I mean, if you basically live the life, and these days, by the time they're 12 years old, they're already living their lives. It's called a breakup. I mean, everyone kind of goes through it. I mean, it's something that is kind of really traumatic to actually go through. I'm gonna talk about like the deep-seated breakups and the ones that's just like the surface breakups. Because remember when I told you guys, like I used to like just date persons for like 2 weeks and then I'll just decide, okay, you know, this person is just absolutely just not for me. And so then I would just basically move on. I would break up. I'd come lie down on my bed. I would just explode with my sigh of relief. And finally it's over, you know. Because when you see you're actually not really enjoying yourself with somebody, it kind of becomes a chore to actually be around them. So the wedding span is over. It's kind of like sigh of relief. Sigh of relief. But these are like the easy breakups because you don't really have a connection or bond with that person. So when it's finally over, you just kind of like shrug it off and you just basically move on with your life. Then we have those kind of breakups where you see persons persons have been living together for years and they've been together for years. They've developed a bond, they've developed a connection, they've been through breakups and makeups, they've been through love. Love. These people have been through love together. I mean, when you're living with somebody, I mean, you share things with that person that you've never shared with anybody else. This person knows you, they know your goodness, they know your badness, and that's not a word. But I'll be saying badness because I like that word. But they've been through your goodness, they've been through your badness, they've been through your attitude. They've been through basically everything with you. They've given you support, they've given you love, they've given you care, they've given you attention, they've given you frustration, anger. You've gone through basically every emotion with that person. And when the relationship ends, it's like a piece of your soul is just basically being ripped apart. And you feel like your world is falling apart because in a sense your world has fallen apart because you've created an entire world around this person. And that's how it is. You create an entire world with that person. I mean, you even saw your old days with that person. You pictured yourself on the front porch, sitting in your little rocking chair, watching the grandchildren or the great grandchildren run around in the front yard. I mean, I'm not even gonna say like sitting in front of a fireplace because I mean we all know that we're in the Caribbean and nobody wants to be sitting in front of a fireplace in the Caribbean. But I mean, when this relationship comes to an end, your whole world does fall apart. It's maybe the imaginary world that you've been thinking about and you've been thinking about making it turn into reality. But it is an entire world falling apart. That's what it is. It's kind of sad, really. It's not kind of sad. It's really hard. I mean, when these things come to an end, you can probably just do like me and just when I come home and I see the empty apartment, just fall on the chair, the couch, and start crying, 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 and call my sister and cry, 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 and tell her, no, no, don't come home. I have to get used to him not being around. You know, I mean, it's really kind of hard to get over these kind of relationships. I mean, it's really kind of hard. It's really hard to kind of get over these kinds of relationships. And it's two people going their separate ways. Two people going to their separate ways, going to go and live different lives, and going to be building new worlds for themselves. And it's just not the hard thing about it, it's just not just that is actually going in separate ways. We think about all the things that you basically built together, you've bought together, you've done together during that time. All these things are actually going in separate ways. We're talking about the furniture, we're talking about land, we're talking about houses, and if you have children, it's going to be separation of children too. Everything, and we can all just do like Medea and just take a chainsaw and just start separating everything in two. But no, we're rational human beings, so we have to kind of find a way to kind of put all what's going on inside of here, to kind of put it on the side and focus on something like chairs and furniture, stove, refrigerator, land, house, children. I mean, all this is going on, and you find yourself having to focus on these kind of things. And sometimes if you see you have a partner who doesn't really care, they're going to be at you for land, house, chair, money, whatever you guys have in the bank and everything like that, because at the end of the day all they care about is moving on with their lives, you know? And you're thinking to yourself, hey, I'm going through all of this and you're harassing me about things for you just doesn't seem important compared to what's going on. But no, I think during those times we have to sort of be strong about it. You have to kind of be strong about it. You have to remember exactly why the relationship comes to an end. And the relationship, when it is basic core, okay, at its core, the most important thing in a relationship is happiness. The reason why you're with somebody is because that person makes you happy. And when that person makes you happy, that's where all the love develops. All of this develops the love. The love develops because out of that happiness, that person made you feel that way. That's where the love develops. So when you realize that you're in a relationship and you're just not happy, you're not happy. Maybe the person is doing things that makes you unhappy. Then the relationship comes to an end, or the partner decides, or your partner decides, and he says that he or she is not happy, and so they want to go their separate ways. Happiness is always at the core. So when you're going through a relationship, you have to, or when you're going through a breakup, you have to kind of remember that the reason why it's coming to an end is because of this unhappiness that you're experiencing with that person. And you want to go your separate ways because at the end of the day, your happiness is the most important thing to you. It should be the most important thing to you. It should always be the most important thing to you. When your partner says that he or she is not happy in a relationship with you, it's going to make you unhappy. Because nobody wants a partner who is not happy with them. And if you do, you're being extremely selfish and delusional. You're being selfish and delusional. You shouldn't want a partner that is not happy with you. So you're supposed to allow that person to go out there and find their own happiness. And if you love that person, and if you truly, truly, truly love that person, you wouldn't have a problem letting that person go and finding their own happiness and finding the happiness that they deserve or that they want. You shouldn't have a problem with that. Okay? We shouldn't have a problem with that. Oh God. I'm basically sitting there and I'm telling you right now, I'm actually getting a cramp in my leg because my legs are like folded under me. Yeah. So, and you should always remember that if you see at the end of the day, the relationship is basically coming to an end. If it's coming to an end and you want to go your separate ways, you should remember that the reason why you are going your separate ways is because that person doesn't make you happy. It's okay to still love that person. You can still love that person for a period of time. I'm telling you, for a period of time, because eventually you will have to kind of move on and start to and learn to kind of give your heart to somebody else. But you can still love that person. You can still want to be with that person, but you have to kind of remember that that person doesn't make you happy anymore. Doesn't make you happy anymore. And by having the things around with you is not going to make you happy either. That's how you go through the whole separation of property, a separation of fridge, a separation of whatever they have in the house. You have to remember that by having the person's things there with you is not going to make you happy. And by the time that when you get rid of those things, when you finally gotten rid of those things, all those things that this person claims to be theirs, when you've kind of gotten rid of those things, you can actually start looking at your life in a fresh, new way. Think about it as you're getting rid of your entire, like just picture yourself walking with all this baggage and all this luggage. Eventually it's actually going to weigh you down. By getting rid of it, you free yourself so that you can actually move forward. So you shouldn't have a problem with letting with separation. Even though you're going through a lot of pain, actually understand by separating and giving the person their things, what is due to them, is actually freeing yourself so that you can actually move on. You cannot be sitting, by holding on to those things, you're actually sitting in a tomb. You're actually sitting in a tomb with a dead person. That's what it is. You're sitting in a tomb with a dead person and you're holding on to all this luggage, with all this darkness, with all this pain, and it's clinging to you. It's better to just simply just give the person what is due to them. Allow that person to go, to free yourself, to unburden yourself, and allow yourself to move on. So when you sort of think about it, okay, because you will when you think about it. I mean, you're going through an entire breakup. I mean, it's really painful, it's really hard. And for me, there's nothing I hate more than unhappiness and sadness. I don't like to be in that sort of state. So I will do just about anything, absolutely anything, to get rid of the pain. And if it means that I have to get rid of a fridge, a stove, a piece of land, or a house, I will do it. I will do it hands down, because my priority is my own happiness. And that should be your priority as well when you see you living your life. Anything that makes you happy, that's where you should be. Once it makes you happy from your soul, I mean from your soul, not surface happy because it just makes you smile, but when it makes you happy from your soul, that is exactly where you should be. And when you're happy in your soul, it's it shows in your smile, it shows in your eyes. There is a certain level of peace around you, and you actually feel it. You feel it in your chest. You feel a certain level of peace. And your eyes, for some reason, just gets brighter. It gets brighter. It gets brighter. It's like your soul showing through your eyes. Okay? So always remember, in a breakup, prioritize your own happiness and understand that sometimes the material things that you have that are actually clinging onto your soul, and understand that pain is not a place where you should be. Pain is not a place, no one should be suffering in a relationship. And if it means that person has to go so that you can find your own level of peace and happiness, then that person needs to go so you can find your own level of peace and happiness. And if they want their clothes, or they want their shoes, or they want their stove, their fridge, or whatever, allow them to have it, because that person is going to keep clinging to you and continue causing you unhappiness. So get rid of it. Get rid of all the luggage and get rid of everything around you. It starts with the physical things, if you actually don't realize. Get rid of all those physical things around you so that you can finally be happy.